to meet you, Calvin. Fly. Do you mind if I sit here?
She played Lorraine McFly, the sweet, slightly awkward teen with a crush on her own future son. But Lea Thompson's real life wasn't so lighthearted. Early in her career, she faced sexual harassment in Hollywood by someone powerful enough to make her think twice about speaking up. Want to know who? We'll get there. And while the chemistry on screen was electric, off screen, things between her and Michael J. Fox were complicated. There was real tension behind the scenes, just between them. Why? It's not what you'd expect. And years later, Thompson didn't stay quiet. She publicly criticized Ellen DeGeneres, calling out what others were too nervous to say. Harassment, off-screen drama, and a bold voice that didn't hold back. It's all in this video. You're about to see a whole new side of Lea Thompson. Part 1. Role in Back to the Future and Cultural Impact. Lorraine Bain. McFly wasn't just the mother in a time travel comedy. She was the heart of it. In Back to the Future, Lea Thompson played 3 versions of the same woman: a shy 1950s teenager, a disillusioned 1980s housewife, and an uplifted version of both after the timeline resets. That range alone was a tall order, but what Thompson delivered was more than versatility. It was vulnerability, wit, and restraint in a role that could have easily turned cartoonish. Her Lorraine was playful and complex, flirty and frustrated, protective and naive. The now iconic plotline where she unknowingly falls for her future son could have been absurd, but Thompson grounded it with sweetness, confusion, and conviction. She made it work, not just narratively, but emotionally. Lorraine wasn't a joke. She was a product of her time and circumstances, and audiences connected with her because Thompson made her feel honest. The trilogy's sci-fi premise often gets the spotlight, but the emotional through line was always family. And in that, Lorraine mattered. Her choices shaped the entire McFly legacy. Thanks to Thompson's performance, Lorraine became one of the rare female characters in 1980s genre films who was multidimensional. And decades later, people still remember her not just for the hair or the dress, but for the humanity underneath it all. Long before she traveled through decades on screen, Lea Thompson had already lived through a very different kind of transformation, one built on movement, pressure, and a quiet drive to survive. Part 2. Early life before Back to the Future. Lea Catherine Thompson was born on May 31, 1961, in Rochester, Minnesota. The youngest of 5 siblings, she was raised in a working-class family that valued the arts but didn't glamorize them. When her parents divorced, Thompson and her mother moved several times before settling in Minneapolis. From early on, Lea's talent was physical. She trained in ballet, studying with the American Ballet Theater and the San Francisco Ballet. By her teens, she was performing professionally. But the ballet world was brutal. Despite her talent, she was repeatedly told her body wasn't right. Too muscular, too short, not the ideal silhouette for classical roles. It wore her down. By 20, she made the hard decision to walk away from ballet entirely. She pivoted to acting and moved to Los Angeles with little more than discipline and instinct. Commercials came first, then bit parts. Then a breakout role opposite Tom Cruise in All the Right Moves put her on the radar. Soon after came Red Dawn, The Wildlife, and then Back to the Future. She wasn't an overnight star, but she was rising and ready. What followed wasn't just a career shift. It was the start of a journey that would span genres, decades, and eventually, her entire family. If you're enjoying this so far, take a second to like the video. It really helps more people find these stories. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. There's so much more to uncover. Part 3. Career before and after Back to the Future. Back to the Future launched Thompson into stardom, but she didn't let it box her in. She followed it with Howard the Duck, a risky Marvel film that flopped commercially, but has since gained cult status. Then came Some Kind of Wonderful, where she flipped the popular girl trope into something deeper and sadder. Throughout the late 80s, she worked steadily, often opting for characters with vulnerability hiding beneath polish. In the 1990s, Thompson shifted to television. She headlined NBC's Caroline in the City, a sitcom about a cartoonist navigating New York life and love. It ran 4 seasons and earned her a People's Choice Award. It also proved she could carry a show, not just support one. Behind the scenes, she began directing. Starting with TV episodes, switched at birth, The Goldbergs, and more, she eventually moved into indie film. In 2018, she directed The Year of Spectacular Men, written by and starring her daughter, Madeline Deutsch. It was a personal project, produced with her husband and starring both daughters. It was also a critical moment in her evolution, from actress to storyteller. She didn't chase blockbusters. She chased stories she cared about. And over time, she built a career not just on visibility, but on ownership. Off-camera, however, her journey came with deeper complications, quiet truths that shaped how she saw the business, the work, and herself. Part 4. Personal life and off-screen truths. In interviews, Lea Thompson has been candid about the darker side of her early years in Hollywood. She spoke about being sexually harassed during auditions in the 1980s, describing it as like kryptonite. Not just disturbing, but paralyzing. She said it dimmed her energy in the room, made her feel unsafe, and affected the kinds of roles she got or didn't. She never named names. She didn't have to. The culture spoke for itself. Even on the set of Back to the Future, things were emotionally complicated. When Eric Stoltz, originally cast as Marty McFly, was replaced by Michael J. Fox, Thompson initially struggled. She had bonded with Stoltz and later admitted she was snooty toward Fox at first. Over time, the tension faded and their professional relationship warmed. But she never rewrote that early awkwardness. She owns it. In 2020, she made headlines for something off-screen. When actor Brad Garrett accused Ellen DeGeneres of mistreating staff, Thompson replied on social media saying the behavior was common knowledge. It was a small comment, but one that added weight to a growing wave of accountability in entertainment. She didn't follow it with a press tour. She just said what needed to be said. She's been married to director Howard Deutsch since 1989. Together, they raised 2 daughters, Madeline and Zoe Deutsch, both actors and creators in their own right. Thompson's family is her creative circle, her sounding board, and her legacy. And even now, after decades in the business, she's still building, not a comeback, but a body of work that reflects who she really is. Part 5. In 2025, where is she now? At 63 years old in 2025, Lea Thompson remains active in Hollywood, but entirely on her terms. She continues to direct, act, and consult on film and TV projects that align with her values. She isn't chasing franchises or reboots. She's building quiet, steady work. Some with her daughters, some on her own, often behind the camera. She's a regular guest at Back to the Future reunions, where she's embraced not just by longtime fans, but by new generations discovering Lorraine for the first time. Thompson never shies away from nostalgia, but she doesn't live in it either. She treats it like what it is, a foundation, not a ceiling. She mentors young women in film. She speaks on panels about directing and staying power. And she's found purpose not just in creating stories, but in protecting the space where stories are made. She's not loud, she's not controversial, she's consistent. And that's something Hollywood doesn't always reward, but audiences never forget. Lea Thompson started as a dancer who wasn't tall enough, an actress who wasn't loud enough, a woman who was told to wait her turn. She didn't wait, she worked. And in 2025, she's still here, still moving forward, and still defining success on her own terms. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.